It's now my great honor to introduce our graduation speaker, Dr. Hans Wehrmann, MBA 91D, and chairman of the executive board of Certina Holding, a company he founded in Germany in 1997. Certina Holding's strategy is to acquire businesses that are facing challenges on the operational side and are in need of a turnaround. So a typical private equity type of business model. What is less typical is that basically it has very strong values. When you look at their webpage and you find statements that are related to business and society, that involve employees, that involve a clear business plan before taking on any new investments, things that are apparently normal more in Germany, but certainly will be good to have all over the world. Before founding Certina Holding, he joined actually BCG after INSEAD. Who of you is going to BCG? Okay, there you go. So a lot of them. And before that, he was studying in Freiburg, Switzerland, and obviously here at INSEAD, gaining his MBA in December 91. We're very honored to welcome you back to INSEAD and to be our graduation speaker today. Thank you very much.
So apparently Urs does know our website better than I do. Thank you very much. So dear deans, faculty, staff, dear students, or more precisely, dear holders of an MBA degree of one of the top 3 business schools worldwide, congratulations. So my name is Hans Wehrmann, and Min, where is he? Asked me in his function as managing director of your program to talk a little bit about the influence INSEAD had on my professional life. So when I joined INSEAD, to be honest, I did not know what to do after graduation, which, by the way, did not change very much through INSEAD, but this is another story. Because when I sort of entered the interview season, I was overwhelmed by the boost of my personal value that INSEAD apparently had created and about the many options was offered to me. So I decided, well, it's probably too easy to take a final decision. So my step was very clear. I entered consulting. Consulting, I joined BCG, was a little bit similar to my INSEAD experience in terms of it was case-driven, it was very open-minded, a lot of variety of people within BCG, a little bit better pay and a better company car, by the way. So I very much enjoyed my time with BCG. However, I realized that INSEAD had done something more to me. I always kept my relationship with my INSEAD colleagues, and we often talked about that maybe being a following a high-level management or consulting career might not be the final destination. So I remember it was also during Christmas, we had a brunch together with some INSEAD colleagues, and we decided, 3 of us decided to stop talking and start acting. So we were running around collecting some money, fortunately got a loan from a bank, the others got some private funds, and we founded a company with the idea of turning around distressed companies using our INSEAD and consulting knowledge. So we started looking for targets, analyzing them, using all the INSEAD toolbox, and bought our first company. It was quite successful, so we were acting in the old economy. We were approaching the end of the 90s, and we realized that around us, a lot of people in the new economy were making bigger bucks than we did. So we were sitting there and saying, well, maybe we should change our strategy. So we wrote business plan, a concept. The concept was based on 5 pillars. The main pillar was community marketing. We were focusing on 5 communities: music, gaming, gay, wine, and traveling. So we were creating the first prototypes, were running around collecting money, and within 4 weeks we collected 10 million, which at that point of time, end of 99, was quite interesting, at least enough to start. So we set up teams also using our INSEAD network. The others were using their McKinsey network. I was using my BCG network, and realizing first sales. So we were quite optimistic that we are on the right path. But then, April 2000 happened. In April 2000, the new economy in Germany just did not went down a little bit, it crashed, it collapsed. So we were sitting there saying, well, okay, nice idea, but maybe we were a little bit too late. So we sold off the shares we had. Fortunately, we found a fund who was still believing in the new economy. Got bankrupt, I think, 12 months later, but anyhow. So then we were sitting there and had to create new business models. We separated from each other, and everybody of us started a new company. And the company I started was called Certina Holding. Okay. So again, I thought, how can one go back into old economy without having much money? So the only way was, again, buying bad-performing, underperforming, distressed assets. So I started setting up a team, also using networks. And the first company I bought was delivering textiles to the airline industry. We're doing our process optimization, and everything was quite going in the right direction. And then 9/11 happened. So the airline industry came to a stop. So again, we had to go back to heavy restructuring, probably used all the things that you learned in your restructuring classes, financing classes, also organizational behavior, psychological issues were very important because we had to reduce the workforce by 50%, but in the end of the day, we managed it. So actually, we have 14 holdings between 20 and 150 million turnover each, with an EBITDA margin of 10%, no debt on holding level, and 50% equity on the conglomerate level. Quite happy with that. So coming back with the question Min asked me, so what impact did INSEAD have on that? As was said, I have a master, a traditional master of a Swiss university, a PhD in business, but that was extremely abstract, extremely theoretical. Whereas what I learned at INSEAD was more touchable, more tangible, and I learned that numbers is one thing, hard facts is one thing, hard skills is one thing, but on the other hand, business reality out there is also extremely operational behavior and human factor driven. And this is probably the most important thing I learned. So negotiation also was not only probably you experienced that, not only number driven, but also psychological driven, put yourself in the position of the opponent and so on. So this was extremely important. It made business for me much more touchable. And without my MBA degree, I'm sure that I would not have become an entrepreneur. So having said that, I think I fulfilled the task Min gave to me. Where is she? Yeah. So, but then I was running through your curriculum. And I realized that you have at least 5 classes touching ethics in business. Ethical dilemma, business ethics, sustainable thinking, ethical decision-making, analytics for responsible management, and maybe I missed out some other classes. So this reminded me on a situation when I did my studies in 1989, exactly 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, the first professorship at the Swiss University, the Hochschule St. Gallen, High School St. Gallen, was founded for ethics in business. So 30 years ago, for the first time, ethics did surface on the management agenda. And there was a lot of discussion, also among us students, that now the world will change, age of Aquarius will really come, and the world gonna be better. Okay, if we are quite honest with ourselves, not very much happened. If you take into consideration the climate conference in Madrid last week, or if you consider the trade wars going on, if you consider banks committing organized tax fraud, the fact that we are still buying SUVs and eating up the resources of our planet, so putting it in a, let's say, positive way, I think that we have to admit, our generation has to admit, that we left a lot of tasks for your generation to be done. The second thing I realized, thinking about your generation, is that internet and social media, the Instagram outside is a proof of it, is becoming more and more important. And if you take into consideration that the top 100 YouTubers and Instagrammers, they have in total 5 billion followers. Okay, there are going to be some double counts in it, but still. INSEAD has 30,000 followers. At Summit INSEAD, there have been a student, Hugo Bosset. He's a French YouTuber. He was featuring INSEAD, Summit INSEAD, a couple of years, and his video on INSEAD had 1 million likes. So I think we have to admit that not only we did not very much for the planet, but also that you guys are better in managing the internet world. So what does this mean? First of all, internet and social media, using it, you can reach a big audience quite fast, generating extremely important data for your business models in a very fast and cheap way. So becoming entrepreneurs and having an influence on the business world, not only business world, but social world, is much faster and much cheaper. By the way, a friend of mine always tells me, Hans, keep in mind, men in suits look quite successful until you realize they are working for forks and t-shirts and sneakers. So please, go out there, become managers, become entrepreneurs, become influencers. Use your influence to influence influencers. And do business for God, for good and for God. and help our place, our world to become a better place. I'm sure you guys are going to do it much better than we did. Take care.